All right, we are live here on the channel. I am joined today by my buddy Red from Red's Reading Cafe. And in honor of you, sir, I had to make sure that I had a warm drink to accompany me
Yes.
today. So, first of all, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And you have a drink as well. What are you rocking with?
Heck yeah. Well, first, thanks for having me on for sure. And then I am drinking Summer Moon.
Ooh.
I usually like drinking hot coffees, especially because it's kind of cloudy and stuff, but I just needed something cold. I'm a little nasally. I'm just getting over COVID right now. So, but this is their Autumn Moon. So it's their pumpkin spice equivalent and
Oh,
delicious.
I love pumpkin
I
spice so
just, the
much.
taste of fall. And then after you and I hang out, I'm going to go watch my Texas Longhorns play for the opening game. So I'm a big football guy.
Nice,
And I'm pretty
nice.
sure either I just made some friends or lost friends. Hopefully, Britton, you'll still like me because I know you're an Oklahoma boy. So,
Uh-oh.
um, but no, for sure. No, but I'm glad to be on, man. I know I'm a little nasally, but it's actually probably the most energy I've had all week.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
glad that I have it here for this
Yeah, dude.
stream.
It that knocks you out, man. I had it. It's been a minute. I think I had it two separate times. Um, it'll knock you out. What's funny
Yeah,
is that like it doesn't exist in Florida, which is the joke, right? And I still managed to get it. So what are
that's
you gonna do?
funny. No, yeah, this is I think my third time getting it. Ever since it started, and Michaela's like, "You could still get COVID." This is my daughter.
Uh
I'm like, "Yeah, it's not going away ever again." It's like the social, like the human immunity is getting stronger, but it's
yeah,
still going to be. It's never going away. It's a new flu. It's hanging out with
yeah.
us
It's
from here
just
on out.
yeah,
So,
is what it
I
is.
mean, yeah, and unfortunately, everybody's getting it. We were trying to keep my middle son from getting it because his birthday's tomorrow, but he's starting to show symptoms this
Oh
morning
no!
where like, oh
Happy
man,
birthday.
yeah, this is not the first birthday he's been sick. But you know what? If his
Ah,
birthday's in September, it kind of makes sense because school starts, then the crud starts to settle in, and then it's usually hitting the households around this
yeah,
time for his birthday. So
bummer.
yeah,
That's yeah. How's that been getting into the semester? I imagine you have a little bit more freedom being on the
a
parent side
lot.
of it, huh?
Yeah, a lot more breathing room, kind of
Mhm.
catching up with things around the house. I mentioned on my channel, I'm currently on leave just for some mental health stuff, which is awesome too, because I work for a company that allows me to take the time to better that. So I've been able to spend more time on focusing on that, going through some awesome, amazing therapy programs. And I mentioned in my recent videos that I love talking about this, not because I'm trying to say, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm taking therapy. It's more of, hey, everybody, it's okay. If you're going through some crap, you're not alone. So yeah, I've been spending that time when my kids are out of school going through this program, meeting some awesome people and just learning a lot more about metacognition, thinking about thinking. And so it's been
Yeah.
really good.
That's awesome, man. I want to circle back to that in a second here, but I just want to make sure we say hi to
Heck yeah.
some homies that are here. Shay's
Oh,
here. What's up? We have. I sabotaged David's reading plans. It seems. Uh, sat down to read some King Arthur.
good to see David.
That's how it be. That's how it be. Got to make sure. We got to keep you on your toes. Mr. Goodcat is here. What is up?
Hello,
Uh,
hello.
Mr. Goodcat, proud member of my new book club that I'm so excited about. Oh,
Heck
that's gonna be
yeah.
so fun. Stoked for that. Sam is here. What's up?
What's up,
Um,
Sam?
I'm glad that you're taking advantage of the summer, man. It can be hard to do. Tabitha's here. Hello.
Yay. What's up, Tabitha?
Sometimes I don't know if you have this. Sometimes when I'm like, if I have too much time on my hands, which is rare for me these days, but happens every once in a while, that it's like, oh, I could do this and this and this, and then you just never do any of it. You kind of get locked
Yes.
up. You ever have that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like analysis paralysis, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially like me, I have so many hobbies. My main primary two are reading and gaming.
Yeah.
But I like music too. I play bass.
Oh, that's
And
cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, I've got my two guitars over there. Betty and Belle are their names because my
Nice.
family, we like to name, inanimate objects. So,
My car has a
um,
name. I get it.
hey, no, that's the big one is family cars. I got it on my dad's side of the family. I could tell you the names of my grandparents' cars, my brother's cars, our cars. Um, but no, yeah. So sometimes it's like, oh, I have all this time, and then I just don't, I doom scroll.
Yeah.
I actually downloaded the Hank Green app, the little bean app. I've showed this before.
Okay.
So there's a little bean that's Charlie.
Yeah.
He's just chilling. But if I go into, like I say, a 2 hour focus, Charlie's going to start knitting.
Oh, cool.
And then when he's knitting, you can literally can't access anything on my phone.
Mm,
So it's just a good way of keeping you from doom scrolling. And then you use
yeah.
the stuff that he knits to buy decorations. So kind of gives
Oh,
you
that's
a little
cool.
bit of that Animal Crossing vibe.
That's nice. Yeah, gamify the getting off of social media stuff for a little bit. That's a
Yeah.
good solution. We got some other people. Esme is here. Hello. Stepan is here. Hello from Croatia. I love that. Will is here from Cornwall. We got people
Hey,
all over the
Will.
world for the famous Reds Reading Cafe tuning in. I love it.
Oh,
But
Will's hilarious. Played D&D with
always,
him. He's awesome.
yeah,
So,
man. I do, I do want to say, and I mentioned this to you, I think before. I relate to the mental health stuff, and I do appreciate you talking about it publicly, because I don't know if you've ever had this dilemma. I have this all the time where I'm like, talking about it is important because it normalizes it and makes people realize it's fine to talk about and you're not
yep.
alone and all those things. But at the same time, I always have this voice in the back of my head. It's like, if I talk, and it's only to me, I only see it about myself. If I talk about it, it feels like I'm begging for attention. And it's like, then it's like, oh, you can't, it's cringy. You can't do that.
Right.
Right. So I always have this weird back and forth, but I always appreciate when I see other people uh, do it because it is really important. Right. And I would hazard to guess the booktube community, where many of us are introverts and many of us are, probably on a similar wavelength, in not in all ways, but in some ways at least. There's going to be some people that can relate, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, honestly, everybody has mental health
mhm,
difficulties, and it's just a range. Um, one of my favorite things about therapy, one of my buddies always said that you're never trying to fix the roof while it's hailing. You know, you're usually repairing
yeah,
things and getting things ready for the storm. So even having like therapy and stuff, even when things are great, it's good to have that because you learn so much more about yourself, whether it's positive or negative, because the human mind is a wonderful thing, and unfortunately we have some things still programmed to us, from back in the day, that's still hardwired in. And so the way we think and just how we react to life, so for me, I deal with severe anxiety and depression. And it was very difficult to deal with. My brother has anxiety, and he was my champion of helping me out getting through it, because he's, hey, I know what you're going through. And so it's having those conversations with people. It really is a good way to help. And it's not, and yeah, and I get what you're trying to say. And that's why I kind of say it every time I mention it in my channel of like, hey, I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm trying to make this about everyone, of like, you're not alone. And that's what I try to do on my videos too. Just say an encouraging word, because it's just nice to go to YouTube and, yeah, you see a lot of funny stuff, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of educational stuff. And then of course our favorite thing, all the book stuff. But it's just good every now and then to just give a motivational boost. And so that's what I try to do with my
sure,
videos. Um, because it's a thing that should definitely be talked about and, like you said, be normalized. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just literally how our brains work. And it's just understanding that when things are going bad per se, you're able to look into why is it doing that, and to react appropriately, and to make yourself feel better eventually, and process.
mhm,
Process is the big thing. When we go through our therapy stuff, they call it processing, and it's literally that you're just trying to get your brain to get through whatever's going on, and then you're good, and you're able
right,
to understand what's going on. So it's really cool, especially as a husband, as a father, as a brother. It's really good to learn all that stuff, and yeah, as a friend too. And that's why I want to keep talking about that in my videos.
yeah, totally. I love that you're doing, like, you're finding people who have the tools to help, right? Like
Yeah.
that is the it's such a huge barrier. I don't know about you. Um, I know a lot of men have this, right? Not to, I don't want this to sound sexist, but I think it just is a thing that a lot of men grow up either being taught to not seek help, or that even if you're not explicitly taught that, you just don't really see it very much. Like that was kind of me. Like, I would see my parents struggle with some things every once in a while, but they would never talk about it. They would never talk to it. They'd never go to a therapist. They'd never anything. And so it always felt kind of like, I don't know if out of reach is the right word or something. It just
Yeah.
wasn't. But then over the last few years, I was just like, bro, like this ain't it. We got we gotta get a hand.
Do something
And
about it.
dude, therapy is like, it's it, man. it is the single, if you find a good therapist, right?
Yep.
There's better and worse. There's a spectrum of everything, and people have different styles. It might not mesh with you. You might have to experiment with different people, different strategies, so on and so forth. But if you find that person and that style that clicks with you, like, dude, it like, I mean, it changes your life as it's supposed to, right?
Right.
It's such a huge thing. And it's awesome to see people who are like proactively doing that and not just doing what I used to do, which is like, oh, let me just wallow and, pretend that this is just, that there's no way out,
Yeah, I mean, we're human,
Mhm.
and we know about physical therapy when things go wrong and you have to have the body repaired, and then you have to go through a process to help you
Yeah.
get better. The mind is just as important. And yeah, for a lot of men, the way previous generations have been raised is you don't talk about your emotions. You toughen up.
Yeah.
Um, and luckily though, my grandfather on my mom's side was very very, lets you, very caring, showed you love, showed you emotions, allowed you to talk about emotions. And so he was the one that really helped me to open the door, make sure that that's a very perfectly fine thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, and so, yeah, I think it's just good to be able to have those conversations. And I agree with you; it has to be the right therapist, the right resources. And yeah, you're just training the mind to take care of itself, and when things do go wrong, to understand what's the best response and not accidentally do the worst one. So, yeah, no, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, man. And I think might be a reason, or at least part of a reason, why both of us fell in love with Kaladin so much in
I
Stormlight.
was just
Right.
about to say, I was just
Yeah.
to say, hey, I know we probably want to segue into books, and speaking of mental health, Kaladin. Yeah, Kaladin Stormblessed. He is my absolute favorite character in the entire series. My video that drops tomorrow is me talking about Rhythm of War and Wind and Truth, and also I'm a little bit of Miss on a Secret History, because right now I'm reading the Alloy of Law. I just started it,
Oh, nice.
and also, by the way, I got the email of Brandon Sanderson talking about Ghost Bloods Era 3 and
Uh huh.
what theme and technically kind of like what era, like equivalent we're at. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking excited about
It'll
that.
be fun. Yeah.
But yeah, no, with Kaladin, it's really good because Kaladin, we see him get to a low, even of thoughts of unaliving himself, and so helps him there, and that minor spoiler in book one, but turns around, and then we see these amazing ups and these downs, and these ups and these downs. And some people were kind of griping about how it's like, dude, is he ever going to just make a decision? And then, like, honestly, that's how depression works, as you have your
Yeah.
ups and downs. That's life. And that's what makes him such a real character.
Right.
But no, that's easily my favorite. I'm probably end up going to get a Bridge 4 tattoo at some point in my life.
Awesome.
Um, because yeah, he's just an amazing character.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of interesting characters and different forms of mental health that Brandon Sanderson writes in Stormlight Archives, and I like how
Yeah.
he writes them.
Some might say too many at this point, but
Yeah, that's very true. So, but no, it's yeah, Kaladin's awesome in Stormlight, and I could just geek out more and more about Wind and Truth, especially because Preacher can't react in front of us and everything. So,
Wind and Truth is so interesting, man. I'm really interested to reread the series because reading it, I loved it. I saw some of the flaws, totally,
oh yeah,
right? Writing style it felt a little different, although it's not as black and white different as I think some people are making it out to be.
right.
But certainly there was some stuff that felt a little clunky, whatever. But I was like, I still love it. This is still great. Still cried at the end. And then the more I've sat here and thought about it, the more I'm just like, man, like, am I going to walk any of it back? I don't know, right? And I don't think I want to walk any of it back. But sometimes I'm just like, do I? So I'm really interested in rereading it because the more it sits in my head, the more I'm like, some of the things I really loved about it, I like love even more, and some of the things that I'm like that I bothered me a little bit, but I just kind of glossed over it. They start to bother me more and more the more I think about it, and so it's like a weird. I don't know. I'm in kind of a weird place with it, but I don't know. I don't have like a
No,
anything profound to say. I was just interesting.
well, and I mean, it's very true about there's the immediate reaction, right, of finishing it, and there's the reaction after you give yourself time. Because I mean, even Preacher said that he was giving it like close to a 4 in a rating, and now I think it
Yeah,
comes
and
up to
came back.
2.5 for him.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't mind saying that to me, When the Truth is the worst of the Stormlight books, because to me it is. But it's still a good story.
Sure.
There are parts, I try to look at things big picture. I don't try to dig too much into it, but I'm also a guy like I'm very much of an easy to please. Like you're almost never going to see a 1 or 2 star, or I call them coffee cup rating on my
Yeah.
channel, because I'm going to try to find books that I know I'm going to like in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But yeah, but with Winded Truth, I mean, yeah, there were some decisions in there that I'm like, why? And then some of his humor was just like, dude,
Yeah.
bro, chill. Like that could have been some of the 200 pages that I think this book could have easily cut out.
Buckle up
Um,
for Era 2, brother.
yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, I don't know. I know I've heard, but I mean, at the same time, it's like some of that is like good, well placed, and some of it's just forced,
Yeah.
And even I
Yeah.
know like Shalon's horrible sense of humor is kind of a coping mechanism for her to try to contrast the serious
Yes.
crap she went through.
Yes.
Um,
I will die on that hill. Shalon's
yeah,
humor fits and it's perfect. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I mean, I don't like it, but I understand why
Yes.
it's there.
Right.
Um,
Same.
and it's just an outlet for Brandon to really land his crappiest dad jokes
Uh-huh.
possible. But but again, it makes sense why Shalon does it. Um, but no, I mean, I gave it a 3.75. And the way I rate things, a 3 means that if that I liked it, and if it sounds interesting enough, read it. And then a 4 means that I loved it, and if you love the genre, then I think you should definitely read this. So it's kind of close to that point.
Yeah.
And if it's for anyone who's trying to go through the Cosmere, then I definitely recommend it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I mean, the if imperfections aside, the sheer scope of what he's doing with the Cosmere, I think, is well worth checking out, especially with how fast his books read. Like the Stormlight books are really big, but like there's only a handful of them, and they read faster than they look like they would, right? Because his prose isn't, it's not a Malazan book, right? It's just Sanderson. It's very straightforward, and that's not to say that it's bad prose. Like he has some lines in there that I'm just like, damn, okay, like this is
Yeah.
but he's not trying to do that. He's trying to be more smooth and accessible and
Yep.
not distract you from other things. So
Some of his best lines are, and some of his worst are dialogue, but some of his, there's a lot of them. There's a
yeah,
huge list of amazing dialogue.
huge,
Um,
huge.
and yeah, and it's neat too because I have the Leatherbound Alloy of Law, and so I read the introduction and I learned that Era 2 is really meant to be a contrast to Stormlight. Of here's this gigantic epic scope, of Stormlight, and here's this thin, fast,
Mm-hmm.
concise read of Mistborn Era 2. And so yeah, I'm definitely getting that vibe
Yeah.
from that, but loving Wax and Wayne so far, and just the idea of how allomancy could be used when their guns exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really excited for Era 3, knowing where we're going in that terms of that equivalent of time.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited to read all the secret projects. So once I'm done with Era 2, then it's just all secret projects is
Awesome.
what's left. So
That's exciting, dude. Yeah, I think if you're liking Alloy of Law that much, I think you're gonna really like Era 2. I was very iffy on Alloy of Law, but then I wound up Shadows of Self. I was like, okay, this is awesome, and I bought in. So I think that you're gonna probably have an even better time. And I loved him, right? I think you'll have an even better time than me. And some of the humor that at first I wasn't very on board with, by the end I was like, okay, like this is maybe I'm not laughing out loud, but I'm like, okay, I can appreciate this, or some of it is genuinely funny and
yeah,
what have you. But the secret projects are great, man. I haven't read Ember Dark yet, but the Sunlit Man, Tress, and Yumi are especially Yumi. Yumi's up there with my favorite books that he's written, to be honest.
Yumi is the one I'm most excited to read, knowing that Final Fantasy X was an
Mm.
heavily influence for him writing that, and
Yeah.
that is easily probably my second favorite behind 7. Yeah, I would say second favorite, and then I love 15 and 16. Shay and I were big fans of 15, so
That's
a lot of
awesome.
people don't like 15, but we love 15. Prince Noctis,
I
let's
is
go.
was 15 when it went to like turn-based combat. There was one that I've only played one, and I played it for like an hour, and that was it. It was the one when I got my Xbox 360 way back in the day. It was a bundle with the Xbox 360, and I just remember it was like this turn-based combat thing that a lot of people were complaining about it, and I was just like, I don't know if this is for me. That's the only
No,
thing I
so
remember.
yeah, Final Fantasy was turn based up until Final Fantasy. I think 15 was the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. Um, that went to kind of more of an action Devil May Cry ish
Oh,
fighting style, and then 16 takes that even more. But every other Final Fantasy except for the MMOs was turn based. You know, in like the first three or four were like turn based, and then they introduced turn based, but it had like this action system that would like, you know, this little bar would charge up, and then when it hit that, your character would take it in action, and so,
okay,
um, which you know that's what Final Fantasy VII's main thing and all that stuff.
yeah. I
And
wonder
then
which
Final
one I'm
Fantasy
thinking of.
X was turn based. Without that, actually, it was like classic turn based.
Okay. Well, I mean, that goes to show how much I know about Final Fantasy, right? But
Hey, if you ever decide to play it, you can look. Shay and I will be happy to talk your head off about.
dude, I want to so here. Okay, almost it's been almost a year. Back in I think October, my friend who's a huge gamer talked. I needed to upgrade my computer anyway, and I was like, what do I need to do, whatever, because he just knows he built his PC, he built one for a friend, whatever. So I was asking questions, and he was like, you can get this and whatever, and then he's like, if you wanted to play games, we can talk about this thing. And I was like, I really want to play games. So it's been almost a year, and I have a gaming PC, and I haven't played a single. I played like an hour of Elden Ring and made a character, and that was it. And it's just I want to play video games so bad, but it's finding the time is the difficult part. You know?
Get, because it's on Steam now. I would recommend getting. Now it is a departure from the original, but I like how they did this. But get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or remake, because it's so what they did is they took Final Fantasy VII in all its glory, and they are doing a complete remake, but they split it up into three games. And at
Okay.
first, I didn't like it until I finished the first one. Like, you know what? That actually makes sense because of just how the scope of the story is so large. And the story kind of twists itself in a way that it's like they're kind of going into an alternate timeline kind of thing, but it makes sense the way they're doing it, which I like because some of my favorite characters who don't make it in seven, or at least were past like a backstory character who doesn't make it, like shows up in this one a little bit
Oh,
more often, which I love that.
cool.
If you know, you know, for my Final Fantasy VII fans. Um, but you could get it on Steam, and it's more action packed. It's really cool, and it's just good gameplay, good music. I mean, it's they did a great job with it. I loved remake and rebirth, you know, part one and two, and I know when part three gets ready to come out, I'm going to play through one and two all over again. There's actually a card game in two called Queen's Gambit, and it's so freaking addicting. I'm the guy who will get
Whoa.
addicted to the card game inside of a game. If it's like Gwent with The Witcher,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
sucked into that. So
That's funny. That's cool. Yeah, I gotta get to it, man. Maybe it was 13. It sounds kind of familiar.
okay, yeah, 13 is like one of the worst ones. I still liked it, but I could tell where it was. I agree. It's a walking simulator. It really
Okay.
is. There's not. It doesn't really feel like you're exploring. It feels like you're just being shoved through a tunnel and you're fighting things on the way. The
Got it.
world's still interesting. The characters, some are has some good depth to them, and some of them don't.
Huh.
Um, you know, there's this really cool black dude with a huge afro who has a little baby chocobo he keeps with him, and
Okay. Cool.
yeah, when they did the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set, I have his card and his baby chocobo. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Um, Dice poker? I don't know what dice poker is. Is this Gwent?
I'm not
Or
sure.
different?
No, it might have. Was that one of the earlier Witchers? Capricious.
We shall see. You know what's got me really excited is so I grew up. I was a big Digimon guy.
Oh yeah,
They're coming out with a new Digimon game here in October that looks really sick. Um, that I really want to get, but I'm just like, when am I going to play this game?
Yeah, I grew up on Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh. So
My man. This is a massive spoiler for King Arthur, David. What are you doing? People haven't had time. It's only come out 500 years ago. People haven't had time to read this yet.
man, that's messed up, dude.
Witcher 1, apparently.
Okay,
Okay.
Witcher one.
Yeah, dude. Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. That was my those and Dragon Ball Z, and then you get into Toonami and all that kind of stuff. Like that was I was gonna say it's my childhood, but like I still have so much Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I still love it. Right?
Well, it's
It's
still
amazing.
it's one of those things like I don't grow up. Why?
No,
It's
of course
fun
not.
where I'm at. So
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
I got my
There's
son
this.
into or my sons are both. Well, actually, all my kids are big into Pokemon and Pokemon
Nice.
cards. Actually, is my binder anywhere nearby? I don't think it is.
It's
Um,
amazing how big the cards still are to this day.
and they're
Crazy.
never. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. In fact, the market
Yeah.
like scalpers are horrendous. Like,
Yes.
um, yeah, yeah. It's just it's kind of crazy. But I do love the Pokemon TCG Pocket. I stopped for about a month or two, and then I've been back and messing around with it because it's a really good system. It's a free to play, so they're going to have some gotcha stuff, but it's not abusive. Um, and then you can play some competitive multiplayer with it, and it's fun. It's really chill.
Yeah.
A lot of cool mechanics and stuff. I would love to see a Digimon equivalent of that too. So,
They're working on something, I think. Some kind of online. It's kind of like a MTG Arena kind of style thing, I think.
I'd love that.
Yeah, be sick.
Yeah, I'd love to see that with the Digimon. The other card game I've been playing in person, my buddy has gotten me into the One Piece trading card
I
game.
hear it's cool.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I got he got me the Sanji Renora Zoro deck. So
Oh, okay, that's
yeah,
probably a good one. Yeah.
it's fun. So
Yeah, that's super cool. People are saying Silk Song. This is a new game, right?
this is the sequel to Hollow Knight. This is a game that people have been waiting 7 years for, because the
Okay.
developers. So I never played a lot of it. Hollow Knight, I have a lot of appreciation for it, though. It's a beautiful game, beautifully animated gameplay. It's a Metroidvania, amazing soundtrack. And what's interesting too is the developers, they basically don't get on the internet. They just stay away from it. So they don't keep up with things because they just don't want to live that life, and
Yeah.
good on them.
Respect.
Um, and so they just been taking their sweet time with Silk Song. And so Silk Song, I think, drops on the 4th, if I remember correctly. So it's highly anticipated, as a indie game. And it's just, yeah, the first one was so good. I've played a little bit. I don't care much for Metroidvanias, but I still definitely could appreciate those who love that type of game. Um, how good it really is. The
Yeah.
last Metroidvania that I actually played and beat was Ori and the Blind Forest. But yeah, Hollow Knight is a good one.
That's all. This is man. This is. I'm so out of the loop. I don't even know what this is.
Listen, when my channel started, it was Red's Reading and Gaming Cafe because I wanted to talk about gaming too, but I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
going to stretch myself too thin if I'm not careful. So, but I can still be the resource of people who want to talk about games. So if there's ever any questions, like my thing is my favorite game of all time is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I'm a huge, huge, huge Zelda fan. And then
Mhm.
my favorite
Mhm.
series of games is Halo. I really want to play uh, Helldivers 2 on PlayStation,
Mhm.
because the idea is you're just these guys who drop in from orbit and go and kill. It's like Starship Troopers. It even has that similar kind of humor to it, but they put it with Halo stuff in it too. There's actually a collab. So here you have this PlayStation exclusive and this Xbox exclusive
That's
getting
pretty cool.
together. Yeah, so people are agreeing that the console wars are finally dead, and now the gamers are winning because now these people are working together. So
Is this Helldivers thing? Maybe this is an ignorant question. Were they inspired by Red Rising? Because I get very Red Rising, like Iron Rain, and then there's Helldivers in Red Rising, right? Like that's a term in the books. And
it
so,
could be. Because I never played Helldivers until Helldivers 2, because Helldivers 1 was like a RTS, if I remember correctly, on PlayStation. And then Helldivers 2 is a third person shooter.
okay,
So, yeah, I don't know, because, the concept, I don't know who had it before Halo, because obviously everybody inspires everybody,
sure.
because, this has been around since at least Halo 2, because in Halo 2, you drop down from orbit. You're basically on a ship and you just get shot out and crash into the planet. And you see Master Chief kick the door open and grab a rocket. And it's
Oh
like, let's
yeah,
go.
you're
Yeah.
man. It's been so long since I played that, but yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I mean, if anything, Pierce had some influences from Halo for
Yeah.
that. Now I will say this, and I did tell Preacher, and he freaked out. But I haven't read the series. I've read book one, but I am gonna.
Okay.
I do have all of them, so I'm looking forward to reading it. So
You'd probably like it. Yeah, you'd probably like it.
no, I know that Starship. I don't know if you want to bring up
Yeah.
books, beverages, and besties. I know that Starship Troopers came out way before Halo, right? Because I remember watching it with my parents. God, I love that freaking movie so much. Um, but do they? Because I know Halo. So Halo had a lot of influences. They had one of the big book influences was Ringworld by Larry Niven, which is one of the earlier books that give you the concept
I've
of
heard this.
of a world where in Halo, it's a ring that's like orbiting a gas giant,
Hmm.
and it's at an angle, so that's how you could simulate a day night cycle. As the ring slowly rotates. But in Larry Niven's ring world, think of the orbit of Earth, and it's a ring that's built in that orbit. That's how big it is, and it has these plates that float in it, so it simulates day and night that way. Um, so that was a big book influence. But yeah, movie influences. Starship Troopers, Aliens were probably the two biggest ones because in
Yeah.
Aliens there's a sergeant, cool gutsy black sergeant. His name is Sergeant Apone, who has a big cigar sticking out of his mouth. It's like, yeah, that's where Sergeant Johnson came from.
Mm.
And then yeah, you just have these gung ho Marines blasting aliens from like Starship Troopers, fighting the flood and stuff. So
I do need to highlight this too. David's got my RuneScape heart. I was such a big RuneScape guy.
I never played it.
Oh, dude.
I skipped that, but we didn't have easy access to a computer. My dad had his gaming PC, but we weren't allowed on it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
I get
I
it.
have not read any of that. David, have you guys read any
Ian Banks
Ian Banks?
also has Ring
I'm
Worlds.
always happy to read more books that have ring worlds.
There you
So
go. Use of Weapons is probably the best sci-fi novel I've ever read. Wow. Okay. Jake would love Dark Tide. Okay. Or at least the soundtrack. Sounds like an easy place to start. At least the soundtrack. I like a good six soundtrack. Yeah, I was such a big David. I don't know how deep into the RuneScape world you are. I haven't played in a few years. I would like so I played religiously from like sixth grade up until so that would have been what for me 2006, 2005, 2006 up until geez, I don't know 2012 or something, and then I was kind of off and on for 10 years after that. And but I did wind up my goal when I first started. I wanted 99 in every skill, wanted Quest Cape. That was my goal when I first started. And I did finally get 99 in every skill, especially even the newer skills. So I have that max cape as a flex. There you
oh,
go.
that's cool.
Serenade Sea Shanty too. Yes, please do.
I love sea shanties, man. That's probably the best thing about Assassin's Creed 4 was the sea shanties.
Dude, that's another one that's on my list. I have, I think, 3 Assassin's Creed games on that I've bought, and here it's on my computer, and I'm ready to play. And I just keep, I loved playing those growing up. I think Revelations was the last one that I played,
Good
and
one.
then it took me a long time to come back to anything. And then when this was it Shadows was coming out, I was like, man, I remember these. I want to. So I went back. I bought 3. I bought Black Flag, and I think there was another one that it's on the list because I love those games, dude.
They're really good. They did take a downturn, and like honestly, like what makes the newest ones poor in quality is the repetition is
Mm,
not. It's really kind of annoying,
sure, that's fair.
but they are beautiful games. And if you just love that era of history, they're still
Yeah,
worth the price because they have a lot of where you could just explore. Like there's a mode in each of these games where it's just explore the world with no combat, no killing or anything like that. So you could do this cool like visual history lesson with your friends
yeah,
and
yeah.
family and stuff. It actually gives you the facts of these different things. And so, but no, like, yeah, like last year or year before, I went back and 100%ed. It's really funny. You can go back and look at my old achievements from the 360 days, and you have me playing Assassin's Creed 1, and it's like the last achievement was like 2008. And then the most recent one's 2023 when I came back to go get all the flags.
Yeah,
I actually went back and did all that. So I've 100%ed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and 3.
nice.
And then I started on 4, and then I lost the dopamine hit from it,
Sure.
so I stopped.
That's
So
I played so much Brotherhood, dude. It's not even funny. Uh, So much, so much. But David, should we make a RuneScape video? RuneScape collab video? That could be fun.
There you go. Oh, cool! This is the first time I get to say
There you
hi
go.
to Janny. I know I got Jake and Shay excited because I've picked up Curse of the Mist Wraith, so I'm super excited about to check that out and
Yeah, man.
understand what it's all about. So I'm really
Yeah,
excited about that.
I think you're gonna dig it. I think it'll be
Ah, man.
awesome.
Well, I mean, because like, especially like whenever y'all are on there and people are giving like Brandon Sanderson a hard time on some stuff, and you guys are like, "No, it's still good." I'm like, "Yeah, these are my people. They get it." You know, it's like I have very similar taste to both of y'all. So when y'all are
Yeah,
both, we're at that level, and you're both saying Curse of the Myth, and just Wars of Light and Shadow are that good. I'm like, I can't wait. Like, that's probably my next read after Alloy of Law. I'm getting more into mood reading because every time I try to set
cool.
up a TBR, I get frustrated when I'm not meeting that alignment. So it's
Hmm.
just going to be more me about a lot more of me saying, "Hey, this is what I'm reading now," that kind
I
of
like
thing.
it.
So
I like it. Uh, Truth and Justice is here. Wow, this is a very high level viewer that we've got.
awesome.
Are you a herald from the Stormlight world? No. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Um, ooh, okay. David got Curse of the Mistwraith also.
Hey, buddy,
Let's
read man.
go. The wave continues to build. I love to see it. Um, I think both of you would love it, man. I think it's so special, dude. It's we've talked about it ad nauseum, but it's
I
just
can't wait. I can't
it's
wait.
so good. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm stoked. And I mean, speaking of buddy read, we're getting very close to September. So Hyperion, for anyone who wants to read, definitely check it out. I know that a bunch of people on the Book Street Boys Discord are going to be reading it. Um, so if you had the time to read it at some point in September, I'm probably gonna, host a live stream at some point on my channel, get as many people as, StreamYard will let me in,
There you go.
to talk about that book. But
Yeah, dude.
easily easily one of the, I mean, it's my favorite book of all time, but its sentimental value is high, but also it's just a really good story. And like I said in the Book Street Boys podcast, that I was a part of, that even if you aren't a big sci-fi person, I still recommend you to read Hyperion, because there are seven, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been just long enough where I'm not remembering, because it's based off, it's inspired by Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. So you have these pilgrims on a pilgrimage, and each of them has their own story to carry into the big story. And what's neat though is that each story kind of has its own genre. You get a mixture of all kinds of things. You get
Mm.
some thriller, you get some there's some like love story in there, like some romance. There's horror elements, there's some fantasy elements. I mean, you get a little bit of everything in that book, which is why I love it so much. So yeah, I can geek out about that. I'm not going to go too far into the weeds there, but for anybody who does want to, even if you don't ever get around to buddy reading it, let me know, for those, including you, Jake, whenever you do read it. I want
Yeah,
to know
yeah.
about what you think. So
I've been thinking about it because like I'm like, can I fit this in? Because that would be so fun. And I, as much as I want to, I don't know if I can because I was looking at all the other things that I'm already committed to, and I'm like, there's just a lot. Actually, I think my TBR video just came out this morning, but I'm like, okay, I have the next Wars of Light and Shadow book is on there. The next, which will be book 5. I'm so excited for that. I have the third Book of the New Sun book we got to do. We got to do Drown Kingdom and
oh, I
Empire of
want
the
to read that so
Vampire.
much. Oh,
Uh,
and I'm picking up. I'll be picking that up next weekend.
let's go. What's the other one? Still working on King Arthur with David. Kind of buddy reading that. Like I'm just like, oh man, I'm kind of and I found out in August I sort of overcommitted my time just a little bit.
You're good.
I'm like I got to be kind of careful here and recalibrate. But if I can swing it, I will jump in. I just need to look a little bit more closely and see if I can
Hey, and if you, even
work.
if you, yeah, I agree with the most recent comment that David just posted in there. Um,
Yeah, don't want to rush it.
yeah, like don't rush it. I mean, and if you don't, then hey, make it an October or November read for you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, don't overcommit, because it's definitely a book that is deserving of a good time, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be worth it. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's really good, and the cool thing too is that it sets up some threads for the Fall of Hyperion, which is the next book in the series. There's 4 books
Mhm.
total. But if you decide to not go forward with it, you still have a satisfying story because you have all these pilgrimage stories that kind of have their own little conclusions, and
Oh,
just a
nice.
little thread from each one that kind of tell you why they're there, and you kind of want to know what happens next a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's not, completely. It doesn't completely take away from it.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited. Actually, V from the Discord was incredibly nice and sent me both of the Hyperion books for my birthday. That was
I
just
saw that
amazing.
and was. I mean, I
Oh,
know I made a comment. Of course, I'm going to. If I see
yeah,
Hyperion,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna geek out. Yeah, and
For
you got the
sure.
good cover. That's my favorite one. I still have mine because I'm gonna frame this one. So, but
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, the
That's
trike.
did you get the Broken Binding one?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
that's
I did.
from? I held off on it for the moment and I was just like, I really kind of wish I would have bought it, but what are you gonna do? What are
Yeah,
you gonna
I
do?
have to be careful with my budget on books, and so it's hard to do
Yeah,
broken
I feel
binding
it.
right now. Um, Next year, my work hobby allowance resets, so I'll probably go crazy then
There
and
you go.
catch up on what I can catch up on. So
Nice. Yeah.
for sure.
It's a tough balance. I was telling Shay this the other day. Actually, my I'm starting to be like, I need some very strict criteria for what special editions I buy, and it's like, okay, it's going to be like one of my all-time favorite series. Like that's going to eliminate a lot of stuff. Um, so like top 10 all-time favorite or something, right? I don't have it strict top 10, whatever, because then I'd have to constantly reassess what that list is. But whatever, all-time favorite. It's got to look great, obviously, right? And it's got to have more than just a new cover. You know what I mean? Like I don't just want a new special edition cover. It's got to have, end paper art, edges.
Yeah,
Interior art is amazing, but like it doesn't absolutely have to. If it has end papers and naked hardcover and edges, then I'm like, cool. But just trying to be more selective because I certainly have spent more money than I should have in the past. And yeah, it is what it is. No
that's
regrets.
really good criteria, man. No, I probably align with you on that. I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Because luckily I was able to do the new subscription that Broken Binding set up. I was fortunate enough to get into that, so that'll probably
Yeah.
be my way of getting Broken Binding books for now.
Yeah.
The price is fair. Shipping is tough, but you are shipping it across the world, so you can't complain too much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, outside of that, I'm happy with what I've got. And
Yeah.
because I also do the Night Company coffee subscription, it's like $40 a month.
Hmm.
I always say no sponsor, but I would love for them to be a sponsor because $40 a month, you get a box and it comes with a bag of coffee. And both of the blends they've sent so far have been really good. Um, the first one's called Quest Seekers Elixir. I'm like, yes,
That's a good
I
name.
love nerdy gaming style marketing. You'll get me every time. But no, they give
Uh-huh.
you a copy of a book and some like swag, like stickers and bookmarks and things like that. And yeah, so there's some good books that I've been getting through that on that front.
That's
I
awesome.
say that car horn's coming for me, and it is. It's storming right now. You can every now and then you'll see lightning flashing. It's not like bad storms, but I think a car
That's
freaked out.
Yeah, that's what Florida's like too, man. Every day in the summer, we're gonna get a little bit of a storm. Um, let's see. If David is still here, yes, let's go fishing in Catherby sometime. 100%.
Thank
And
you,
you're
David.
amazing too.
You are amazing, David.
So here's my trick with Broken Binding, right? Is on the subscription service, there's so many people who want to be on there who are not, right? And so what I do is I keep the ones I want to keep and I'll just resell the ones that somebody else is going to appreciate way more than me
Yeah.
and like break even or whatever, right? And it's like, cool, I'm not really out anything and somebody else is getting this book that they really want, but they don't have to pay for the monthly thing. It kind of works out. Maybe that's me coping and most likely it is. But it is what it is. And yes, I did. Of course, immediately pounced on
See, I
Warriors.
wish I would have. Do they ever reprint or anything like that?
Yeah,
Because I'd love to
for
go
sure.
back and get all the Malazan ones eventually. I mean, okay, I need to read at least the first 3 books because David told me that's what I need to be doing. I need to read the first 3 books before I make a judgment call if I'm going to keep going. And then
Okay.
if that's the case, then I'll start trying to pick up Broken Binding copies.
They're
So
great, dude. They I think they just did a was it their third print of the first 3 books, I think, maybe.
okay,
Um, I doubt they're going to do it indefinitely,
right,
but maybe they will because I know Erickson's not signing them by hand anymore. They're just doing electronic signatures. So that's going to help a lot with, how many more they can print. But I mean, there's always eBay, I guess, if you want them that bad. They seem like, I mean, they're not sub press, like, so they're not going to be $200 a book, which I
Yeah.
got closer than I want to admit to buying the other day, and I'm glad I held off. I was responsible, but I was sorely tempted. Yeah, top tier copium, 100%, 100%. What are we reading right now, man? What are you in the middle of?
So working through Alloy of Law, and then I'm
Yes,
probably
that's right.
gonna pick
That's right.
up Curse of the Mistwraith next, just because I really want to see what it's all about after you and Shay have talked about it as much as y'all have, and John too. John and Jacob talking about it also. So
Yeah, man.
that, and I wanted to get through Sun Eater. Um, I'm looking at my shelf. That's where Curse of the Mistwraith and Sun Eater are sitting right
Good.
now. So
Have you done any Sun Eater yet?
So I've done Empire of Silence, and I want to start Howling Dark, and I know Howling Dark is where it really starts to ramp up. Like it was
Yeah.
really, I know they said like, and I agree, like Empire of Silence is a slow burn until like the very end, and then it starts to ramp up, and then Howling Dark just takes it and yeets it, and it just goes. And so I'm really excited to go through that. I really wanted to go through. That before all of them came out, but I know I'm not going to get there. That's okay. I don't want to rush the process
Yeah,
and
for
get to
sure.
where I'm not enjoying a good book. That's
Yep.
why I've been taking my time. That's why I want to take my time with Curse of the Mistwraith, just because again, I've been so excited to read that after everyone's what they've said about it. And so,
Yeah.
just making nice slow burns.
Yeah.
That's why probably some of my videos coming up will be me talking about what I'm reading, but also get more into just other interesting things to talk about in terms of the book space and stories and things, and just see how I go. Because I feel like I pushed myself a little too hard with, cramming in Rhythm of War and Win in Truth in a short period of time.
Sure. Sure.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of those, I agree. The stuff he does, it's the creme, right? The way that he does
Yes.
the ecology and everything.
It
Yeah.
is so cool. Oh, man. Yeah. That world,
Chasm
Roshar is so
Fiends.
cool. And
Roshar's
I'm
very
so
cool.
excited because I was very, very, very lucky that my wife gave me the green light to get the full bore, most highest tier thing for the tabletop Kickstarter.
Oh, cool.
So that should be shipping in September. And I've got some friends who I've introduced the Cosmere to. They're both finished Elantris and are both on book 3 of Mistborn, Era 1. My brother finished Elantris. So they're they're about to get into Stormlight very soon. And I'm so
Nice.
excited to play this RPG with them,
Yeah.
and just learn these new mechanics and just go through, you know, having somebody who are like, Knights Radiant or just wearing, sharded plate and shard
Yeah.
blades. Oh, it's going to be so freaking cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, Rorschach is such a very fascinating world that, that's another thing that Brandon Sanderson deserves a lot of credit with, is just the worlds that he makes are very interesting. I loved
Yeah.
Scadrial and, or Scadrial, however you want to pronounce it, and why it is the way it is in Mistborn Era 1 and in 2, the changes between. So it's really cool.
Yeah. It is cool. Which makes me think you're going to like Curse of the Mistwraith even more because you appreciate the nuances that go into why the world is the way that it is. Right?
Oh, dude, it get me excited even more so.
Oh man, it's I'm telling you, dude, it's something else. It's something
Fine. I'll start reading it today.
today, right now. Leave the stream right now and just go.
Usually what? Okay, let's see. Usually what I do is I'll have a physical copy and a Kindle copy, just because I like to interchange depending on the size of the book or just where I'm reading it. I like to be on my couch or in my beanbag behind me with the physical book as much as possible. But if I'm in bed, I usually want my Kindle.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
So I've definitely got, Curse of the Mistwraith loaded up for both of those. So
that's awesome.
And Howling Dark. So
yeah, dude, I'm so excited for the Sun Eater release. I'm like my Sun Eater fandom right now is like at its peak because obviously with the release event coming up, but then it's like so many people are trying to catch up before then, and it's just so you're seeing a lot of content about it and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of see it behind me. I was able to snag a copy of Murdered Sun.
It's beautiful. And I want all those. I would love to have all of the broken bindings and stuff.
Yeah,
of those two,
nice.
just those hardbacks, because I love hardbacks. When I can get them, I want to get them.
Yeah, so, you can just get the normal hardbacks now. which is nice.
Good,
They're not as they're not hundreds of dollars on eBay anymore, right? You
good.
can just if you order them from Quail Ridge Books, he'll sign them for you. So it's like
Well, I'm definitely doing
pretty
that.
nice. There you go.
Yeah, I'm excited to get through that. I'm excited. I wish I could do the event. I know a lot of our members of our community are getting it too, but I had to budget. It's like, okay, this sounds amazing, but all my funds are being allocated to Dragonsteel Nexus. My brother and I are
Sure,
going,
sure.
so
You got to be
that's where all.
selective.
Yeah, that's where that's going to go. And so, um, but no, super excited for that release event, and super excited to hear how he finishes it, how and what people think.
Yeah.
More importantly, not the initial thoughts, and then thoughts after it's settled in, like any
Yes.
other book. But no, I'm excited. I mean, it seems like the momentum he carries it in such a great way, and I have yet
Hmm.
to hear anything negative about the books in any way, shape, or form. And even the short stories, like holy
They're
cow,
great.
man, the Lesser Devil was so good, and it did
Yeah.
such a great job of letting you realize, like, hey, Adrian's perspective of things at that time in his life may not have been the best,
Hmm.
and so Crispin's actually a genuinely loyal, caring person, who was could be a bit of a doofus, but what man of any age at that point is not a bit of a doofus,
Right.
and so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting, man. I know there's been a couple. One for sure. Who Casey, who has a YouTube channel that he read it. He got an early copy, and he said it's the best of the series. And I know Christopher does like monthly live streams where he's talking about the feedback that he's getting is like pretty universally one of, if not the best book in the series, and it's easily the longest one, also, which is exciting for those of us who like the huge epics.
Yes.
Um, I think like Demon in White's like 800 pages on hardcover, and I think this one's like 100,000 words longer. So it's big. It's
I'm
big.
excited about that.
Yeah, dude. I everything you know everything we got out of book six, it's like there's just so much stuff that he can do here in book seven. I don't know how he's gonna wrap things up, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, that's what and I'm sure that's what hurt a little bit of you can hurt yourself on your own success, and I know Brandon, that might have been a little bit of what people had extremely high expectations,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. But it's just so hard not to when you've been writing a series for so long and it's taken so long to get through it. And I was always wondering, like, one, you in a way what the ending's going to be just at the beginning of the very book. When you read the synopsis on the back of the book one, you're like, oh, that's how this all ends. But obviously, there's more to that, because the first book immediately tells you that all these legends that have been made about him are not entirely accurate. And so it makes you want to know about, man, what was really going on by the end of this whole series. What
Hmm.
was really happening? Why did he make these decisions? And so, and again, I'm only speaking from Empire of Silence right now, and so I know I have a lot to go off of
Yeah.
later on. But I'm excited to see how he sticks the landing for sure. And
Yeah.
also, what's more exciting is somebody finishing a series. What are they going to do next?
I'm so
And
excited. I mean, he's doing fantasy next, so
yeah.
we're gonna see what it is. He's written four like sword and sorcery short stories that are awesome.
Oh,
They're
I know that.
awesome. They have you read Berserk?
Yes.
There's a lot of Berserk influence. I mean, there's a lot of Berserk in Sun Eater, but there's a lot of it in one of the stories, and they're great, dude. You can get them. One of them is free on a Substack. That what is like Parker's Pensies, or I think is what it is. It's a YouTube channel that he has a Substack where you can get the first story. It's called The Barrow King,
Okay.
and then he has other ones you have to get on his Patreon, but like $5 a pop or something like that. But they're great, dude.
Oh, I have to definitely check that out,
They're
because
very
I
good.
love his writing style and his prose
Yeah, yeah.
choices, and so
And this is like more polished Christopher. Like he wrote Empire of Silence when he was a teenager, right? So like, which is incredible. So that okay, I want to be clear when I say that. That doesn't mean that like it's good for a teenager, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. It's good for literally anybody. It's
oh
just
yeah,
amazing that he did it when he was so young. He's like savant level genius. So him
well, and
with
it just goes
polished
to
prose is
shows his
crazy.
ability to consume literature and use those influences to write really beautiful prose.
Yeah.
That's something that I want to eventually get around, being able to write prose
Hmm.
and write well, based off of my passion. Because I mean, that's Stephen King's number one thing on writing. His book on writing is that you why the heck are you going to write if you don't read? You have to
Right.
be able to be reading and reading all the time to write, because it's just good to consume all that and learn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, I can't wait to read, what was it? What's the series that you guys are, the Gene Wolfe books?
Book of the New Sun.
Yeah. I want to get around to reading
Yeah.
those eventually,
They're
knowing
fun.
that those are heavy influences. And I know I'm supposed to be like really confused, and I'll probably go back and watch y'all's live stream of when y'all get the Sherpa to help y'all through it.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate it more. So,
You know what? I've been thinking about this a lot too. Like, I don't know that they're that confusing. Um, like you can read it, like you'll understand the plot. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just like, what is happening? Like, there's going to be something that like maybe you don't know how to picture something in your head perfectly because it's not described in great detail or something like that. But like the surface level plot you can get, and like what the characters are doing and who they are, you can get. I think the confusing quote unquote part is all the deep symbolism. Like there are so many layers that a lot of it goes over my head because a lot of it is very deeply Catholic, and I wasn't raised Catholic, so I don't.
hmm.
Some of it I just don't know. Right? It might be right there smacking me in the face, and I don't know what it is. But other bits of it I can see, and it's so satisfying to be like, oh, this is this, or you know, he really takes the whole idea of if a character is familiar with something, he's not like you know what headphones are. So like if you're just going to tell me you were wearing headphones. You're not going to describe to me every little aspect of what headphones look like and what they do and where they come, you know? So like Wolf really hard leans into that, but it's like aliens that he's describing, right? So it's like I get why people are confused, and I certainly have been confused in a lot of points, but I don't think it's as scary as at least as I used to think that it was. So I don't
Well, I'm
know. It's
excited.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the habit of keeping my Amazon list updated and just throw it up there on my YouTube in case anybody decides to say, "Hey, get this," and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
jokingly say it's like anything that bypasses, me having to get something so my wife doesn't shoot me for every book that I buy.
Uh-huh.
So, um,
I can relate.
yeah,
I get
so
yelled at. She's like, "Another book? What are you doing?" I mean, I'm not married, but still.
yeah. No, no, a significant other in any way, shape, or form is going to be able to hold you accountable for
Yeah.
what you're doing, or give you a hard time when you're doing it too much.
Yeah.
But usually how I usually work is that I do a chunk, right when the beginning of the month, I usually go to Barnes and Noble, usually with my daughter or something like that, and then go buy kind of my month's worth of books. So, it's cool because in Book Street Boys, we found out there's a bunch of people from North Texas in there. And so I know that me and Cher and Tabitha are seeking up, and I believe some others, if they're available, going to just grab some coffee and go to Barnes and Noble, and then my
Awesome.
wife will shoot me by the time I get home. So,
But you'll
but
have a
no,
fun time. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun though. But
Go out on
I plan
top.
on picking up Empire Vampire because I know that we're going to be that's our book of the month for Book Street Boys. Y'all definitely need to go to the Discord. It's an awesome community, um, and so that, but also picking up Solo Leveling Volume 2 because I
Oh,
finished
nice.
Volume 1 last week, and then also 20th Century Boys. I did pick up the first volume and read that,
Yeah, dude.
loved it.
Everybody's on there right now.
It's great. It's amazing. You can definitely see the Stephen King, coming of age influence in that. So, but no, I'm excited to go get those, and also,
That's funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
Or
you're good.
distract you.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also that's usually around the time I refresh my daughter's manga collection because I got her into Black Clover, My Hero Academia,
That's cool.
Mashal. I feel like I'm missing one. Blue Period. So yeah, she's my book nerd. Also, because she actually she told her literary teacher, "It's like, hey, my dad has a booktube channel if you want to follow it," and so they did. And then she asked for recommendations for books for her age, and so the person suggested the big three of that age of the dystopian. Hunger Games, Divergent, and Maze Runner. I'm like, yep, I know exactly what all three of those are, and we'll
There you
drop
go.
book one for those for you on that, and you can go through those. And of course, every year in August, with it being her birthday, I give her access to the next Harry Potter book. So this is the Chamber of Secrets year for her.
Nice.
So no, it's fun. I love
That's awesome.
love buying books and not reading all of them.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. I give myself only limited space to put books I haven't read yet. And I don't know if I can cram another book on that space. So I
I
need to
bought
get
a
to work
third
on that.
shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the third shelf was my wife's idea, not the filling it up so quickly, which I'm not, to be honest with you. It's taking its time. Although the August book haul is a bit larger just because birthday money, it was my birthday month too. My brother got me a trilogy of books. And so that's probably going to be the next video I record is going to be my August book haul. So I'm looking at the
Awesome.
pile right over there, just in time for me to start and buy my September book haul.
There you go. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. August
Awesome.
6th is my birthday. And my all three of my kids' birthdays are in August. The last one's tomorrow,
Oh,
and so yeah, it's a busy month, dude. I'm always tired in August. My wife
I bet.
especially.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to August being done. And
I hope
so
your wife's birthday's in like February or something, like
that's
as far away as
exactly what it
possible.
is.
Nice.
Yep. Her birthday is February 6th. We were actually born the same year, so she's 6 months older than me
Oh,
to the day.
interesting.
So yeah, it's easy for
Wow.
us to remember our birthdays that way.
That's
So
funny.
yeah,
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. I
yeah,
love that
no,
you're
she's
introducing
exact
Harry
opposite.
Potter that way too. That's
Yeah, no, I loved it. Yeah, she got to read Sorcerer's Stone and she loved it. And so I was like, I'll get ready for a wild ride and
yeah.
get ready to have your heart broken at some point too. So,
Uh-huh.
but it's what makes the story so good though, man. So,
Yeah.
yeah, she's been reading the Warrior Cats series has been the recent one that she's read, and she loves that. So, I'm trying to think what else. What we've read together is some of the Winged Feather Saga, Percy Jackson, Kane Chronicles, and those have all been a lot of fun. Rick
Yeah.
Riordan, the simple. It's always nice to kind of go back and read that age range just because you can just consume them so quickly.
Sure.
So, but no, it's been fun. It's just been fun to read with her because I know that gets her excited about books, and I'm excited for my boys to get into reading
Yeah.
eventually too. So,
Yeah, man. That's I have very fond memories of my dad reading to me when I was a little kid. I think that played a big part in me getting into it, really.
heck yeah.
Andrew's here. What's
Hey,
up,
Andrew.
man?
Thanks,
Three
man.
legends now that you're here.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, dude. You know what? There was this book series that I remember feeling very Harry Pottery that was like for a similar audience that I never hear anybody talk about. Did you ever hear about Charlie Bone?
No.
It's like the titles were the same as it's like Harry Potter and the whatever, right? That's what those titles were always. It was like Charlie Bone and something. And I remember those when I was little and feeling like this is like the Harry Potter. This is like, you know, Twilight gets huge and now all of a sudden vampires and werewolves are everywhere.
Right.
It was kind of like that. But I remember liking them, but like nobody ever talks about them. It's the same thing with like the Pendragon books or like the YA whatever. That I love those. I still have them on my shelf. Like I would love to reread them at some point, but nobody ever talks about them. I'm just like, how did I have these, but no one else? I just assumed everybody knew what it was. It's weird.
I'll need to check those out. I mean, I always love going back and finding some of those that had those influences. So,
Yeah.
because like, there really wasn't a lot of reading for me growing up. Because my story is that I think I might have read a little bit of like Hank the Cowdog was a big one for me. So that was a
I
fun
don't
series.
remember
I don't know
that.
if anybody in the chat or anybody who's watching the VOD of this, but that's what I read a little bit of, and I
Mhm.
enjoyed a little bit of growing up. But yeah, I didn't touch anything until Harry Potter, and then my grandmother got me into it with the movies and stuff. Like I watched the Sorcerer's Stone movie on VHS and had the Harry Potter book too, and I'm like, I want to know what happens next. I just finished this movie. What's going to happen next? So
Uh-huh.
I ended up reading. That was my motivation to read Chamber of Secrets, and then after that, well, now I have a huge collection of books back there for that
Yeah.
reason. So
That's great. I'm due for a Harry Potter reread someday, man. My girlfriend bought me the first three of the illustrated editions.
I've
Um,
heard about those.
they're gorgeous. So whenever I reread it, it'll be out of those for sure. I just gotta, find the rereads are tough for me, man. Because I want to reread like the Aragon, like that series, and relive some of that nostalgia. I love nostalgia. It's one of my favorite feelings in life, and it's hard to find the time though.
Yeah, and honestly, this is why I'm leaning back towards mood reading. I know preachers are starting to do this. I know this
Mhm.
is what Thomas Howell has always been about, which I love about. He's awesome, and that's his big thing. And that's why I'm just going to start shying away from TBRs because
Mhm.
and I think that's something that I've actually helped with the whole therapy thing we talked about at the beginning of this hangout was just it kind of puts pressure on me to get certain things done. And though I have no problem doing a buddy read, especially if it's like that's why I have no problem just doing the Hyperion one because it's like it's my favorite book of all time. I can easily reread this book. This will be like the
Sure.
11th time I've read this book. Um, and like Empire of Vampire, where it's the book of the month, and I've been trying to do book club stuff, and it's been harder for me to do that because I've been doing a TBR, and so I kind of been setting myself short.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's why I'm looking forward to reading Hyperion and like Empire of the Vampire. We're getting to some spooky vibes. It's getting cloudier, it's getting a little bit rainier. Like this is perfect. This is abnormal for Texas to be getting cooler, cloudy, rainier this early. So
Ah,
just getting into the vibe and it's just something to enjoy. Outside of that, yeah, just want to mood read and just not feel like I need to commit to too many things. So I may have to set up a rule that I only allow myself to commit to like two things a month, to give
sure.
myself some breathing room, especially, for buddy reads. Cause I want to do more buddy reads, or book clubs, but I just got to be careful
Yeah.
about how often I do it.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. It's the TBR versus mood reading thing's so interesting. Like, I totally get it. And I know I talk about that, like it's hard to find time for this or whatever, but it's like it doesn't feel stressful to me. Because even if I, like before I had a channel and whatever, and I was like, okay, you just read whatever you want, right? Like you're not pleasing an audience. You know, you're not trying to avoid the issue of only talking about the same series every day, or every video or whatever. And even then, like I made a TBR because it was fun. I like spreadsheets and I like organizing things and I like planning out what I'm going to do. And it's just the thought of not doing that feels more stressful to me. So I
Yeah.
think I might always be a TBR guy, but I totally get the the people who don't like it. Makes perfect sense, right? Like you know, um, but yeah, it's just such an interesting conversation. I think, and I'm also like, it's an interesting conversation, but I'm also kind of like, just do whatever you want. Like, who cares? Just do whatever you want,
Exactly.
So
I mean,
it's
if you really think about it, I mean, this whole collection that I have behind me is all TBR because it's literally all these books are to be read. Either the first time or for another round or
uh-huh,
whatever.
uh-huh.
I think there's certain goals that I have. Like I'd love to read Curse of the Mist Wraith by the end of the year. I'd love to get caught up on Sun Eater before the seventh book drops. So those are the things of like loose time frames that I have. But nothing strict outside of like knowing I'm going to be reading Hyperion in September and Empire of Vampire and that kind of thing. So yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of a mixture, and in the end, it's yeah, do what feels right to you, that kind of thing. Everybody has a
Yeah.
different mindset in the way they consume books and the speed in which they consume books. Jacob's always giving himself goofing off a hard time about how he doesn't read in much, but
Yeah.
it's hey, as long as you're enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to consume books as fast as like John or Tabitha. So
Sure.
we all read our books and enjoy our books in different ways, and so it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm going to be putting it as strict. It's just going to be like books I'd love to read, this
Yeah.
season if I can get around to it,
Yeah.
that kind
There
of
you
thing.
go. That's even my like TBR stuff is, I don't know, it's on the schedule, but like I'll break it if I want. Who cares? Right? It's my
Exactly.
channel. I can do what I want.
It's your
So
channel.
it's like,
It's your. What do you want to read?
yeah,
That's the whole
exactly.
point. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to force yourself to play something if you're not going to play something or read something if you're not going to want to read it.
Yeah.
Because like I picked up a book called Paradise One. It's a horror sci-fi book, and I was really enjoying it. But I'm like, I don't really not vibing with this right now. Let's come back to it later, maybe closer to Halloween, and
Sure.
it'll fit the vibe a bit more. So we'll take a break on
Yeah.
that. Let's just focus on Alloy of Law, and it won't take too long to read because it's a smaller book, and then
Yep.
let's see what feels right next. And honestly, hanging out with you and then having Jenny in the chat, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna probably read Curse of the Mystery next.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Peer
So
pressure.
yeah,
I love it.
it's so true.
Let's
Cool.
see.
Yeah,
Steve,
giving me.
we got to get this really quick too. What's your favorite Harry Potter book?
Oh man,
Haven't
probably
read
gonna
Harry Potter.
be. It's either Prisoner of Azkaban or Order of the Phoenix for me.
Hmm. Those
Sirius
are good
Black's my
choices.
favorite character in the series, so
Fair.
and those books have a lot to do with him. So
Yes. That's tough for me. I think my favorite probably Half Blood Prince actually. Not my definitely not my favorite movie, but I think it's my favorite book.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean all of it's good.
Yeah.
But no, those would be, man. If I really had to get down to it, I'd have to say Order of the Phoenix for me.
It's a funny enough. That's actually the first Harry Potter book I read when I was a
Oh,
kid.
really?
Yeah, because I didn't get it. I just like I didn't know that there was sequential order, so I picked it up and I was just like, there's obviously incredibly big spoilers right at the beginning of that book for what
Yep.
happens in book four, and I was just like, okay, what is this? What's happening? And then eventually I put together that like, oh, this is book five in the series. We should maybe
And
start at book one.
I have a lot of fond memories of that book. So, I still, grew up and still am, Southern Baptist Christian. And my grandfather was a pastor, and some of the, especially Southern Baptists are like, Harry Potter's of the devil. And it's like,
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff. And, but luckily I had my youth leader, she was it's a little hesitant about us reading it because it was me and another good friend of growing up. She and I were the big Harry Potter nerds, and so,
Mm-hmm.
but book five when it came out, I remember shopping with my grandpa, um, and he was the pastor, and he was the one who actually bought book five for me, and so I thought that was like a cool thing because he was always like, yeah, you don't need to worry about that. That's it's just a story. there's
Yeah,
no there's no actual rituals or anything in here or anything like that. It's just interesting fiction. Have fun with it. You're not
totally.
practicing anything. And I'm like, yeah, why the heck not? It's
Yeah,
just a cool story. It's cool flavor.
yeah.
If I really wanted to freak people out, I'd be talking about all the cool things I've seen in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, things like that. That'd be a different take on things.
Totally. Yeah,
But no, yeah, and I agree. That was a hilarious starting point for you.
yeah.
Wow, yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know how. I just didn't even think about it. I just saw that it said Harry Potter I can't remember how old I was, um, but I was young, obviously, because I didn't understand the concept of a, a book series. But yeah, interesting, interesting.
I noticed a comment earlier where I was saying cooler, cloudy, or rainier, and they said it was 104 degrees 2 days ago. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
listen, cooler, cloudy, rainier, and from a Texas perspective, yeah, like it's still supposed to be like in the 90s in this time of year, but it's
Mhm.
already like we had some cold fronts. Like right now, it's 75 degrees. The high is 81. That never
Wow.
happens this early in September ever.
Yeah, it's
And so that's my hope if we're actually going to get like a drizzly cold October, because that's my jam, dude. I don't know if it's
yeah.
the Irish genes or Scottish genes in me, but that's my mood elevates. It's probably one reason why
Yeah.
even though I'm still feeling like crap from fighting COVID, I'm in good spirits just because this is my weather right now. And
Yes.
so getting to hang out and talk books with friends and
Yeah, dude.
enjoy the weather is perfect for me.
100%. That's how I am. Like people talk about what is it, seasonal affected depression or whatever in the winter. Like I'm the opposite. I feel horrible in the summer.
Summer.
Summer just
Yep.
crushes my soul, dude. I hate it.
It feels very oppressive. Even if I were to lose, because I always say I'm a hot natured, overweight ginger. So everything about heat is I just can't stand it. But even
Sure.
if I were to lose a lot of weight, I would still struggle with the heat. I've always been that way. So
Yeah, it's not a number of. I gotta go get my first PSL of the season pretty soon here. It's hard because I want the hot one. I don't want it iced, right? And so I have a hard time doing that and then walking outside and it's this hot and horrible. I struggle. So
yeah, I typically prefer cold brews of some kind.
okay.
But I like hot coffees. But with it being summer, I try to drink more cold, but it's hard to make. I mean, you can make cold like a good cold brew. You have to overnight it before you can make it because you have to give it time to brew properly.
Okay.
But the OXO or OXO brand like my last video, they have this kind of this AeroPress equivalent, and you could do a cold brew with it, and it's really good. You have to do kind of a pseudo fine grind, but yeah, you put the grind in there, you put the little cap on top or a little container on top, pour it with water, make it's a vacuum seal, and then you wait 5 minutes, and then you push it through, and it basically makes a concentrate, and then you pour that into ice water, and it tastes absolutely amazing. It's very good. Highly recommend it to anyone, and it's super easy to clean up. It's super easy to make. You do need a, I'd recommend getting your own grinder, because then in grinding it whole ground, because one, it tastes fresher, it tastes better, but two, you get the right setting, because you don't want it to be an espresso grind, but you don't want it to be a coffee drip grind. You want somewhere in between. And I was like, wow, I'm tasting cold brew that's this flavorful, and I didn't have to wait all night for it. Okay, this thing's awesome.
That's
So
cool.
yeah.
That's cool, man. You're in deep with the coffee, man.
Oh, I love it. I
That's
love
cool.
the coffee.
I
So
I think I could be there if I just I don't ingest any caffeine anymore, because it makes everything for me worse,
yeah,
unfortunately. Um, so decaf coffee is just it's like it's still coffee, but it's just
yep.
not as good, at least for me. I just don't like the taste as much. It does taste different.
I,
Um,
I yes, I would agree it does. But I think it depends on the blends too. Like Summer Moon.
fair. I'm also
Um,
cheap.
no,
So
you're good. I may have to ship you some Summer Moon, because that's my favorite. Their decaf is mind boggling, because I agree with you. It does taste different. Sometimes it's different in a good way. Sometimes it's different in a bad way.
Mm,
But Summer Moons is definitely different in a good way.
okay,
Yeah, if you were to go from like I drink diner coffee to coffee snob, I'm somewhere like leaning a little towards coffee snob, but not too far
sure.
into it.
Yeah,
And so, oh hey
yeah, yeah,
Joanna, and
yeah. Joanna's
Joanna
here.
says she's a matcha lover.
Yeah,
I
pretty much.
I haven't been able to get into it. My brother would probably like it more. He's a big green tea guy.
Mm,
Um, I need to try, because I've heard matcha lattes are really good too.
I've
So
heard the
I'm
same.
always happy to try new caffeinated teas or coffee blends. It's always fun to see what's going around for those. But yeah, my brother and I actually we're hoping here in the next few weeks to start recording some videos for my channel, because um, he is 5 or 6 books into the Wheel of Time, and
Oh,
I
cool.
am, I've gone through Elantris, Warbreaker, Mistborn, Era One, and all of Stormlight. So the idea is that he's starting to read Cosmere. He just read Elantris, and I just finished up Eye of the World. And
Yeah,
so we're going to start doing. I love my alliterations, so I like my usual weekly video is books and brews of the week. But this is probably going to be like books, brothers, and brews, and
I like
so
it.
we're going to talk about stuff. But what made me think of him in that is that he's a big tea guy. He loves tea, and so that's probably me drinking coffee. He's drinking tea, and then we're going to be talking about, what are our thoughts on these books that we're reading, and then having the person who's more knowledgeable of the series kind of weighing in on it without
I
going into
like it.
spoiler territory. So we're looking forward to that.
I like it. That's awesome. How'd you like Eye of the World, by the way?
Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I can tell where, because Brandon always talks about Grandpa Tolkien and Papa Jordan,
Uh-huh.
just like, here's these generational fantasy authors. Um, and I could see where people were like, you gave them a hard time a little bit, because it seems like it's just another copy and paste of fantasy. But it's like,
Sure.
what kind of bugs me about that, and it's like a little bit of a rant. I almost want to save it for like a Book Street Boys, and maybe I'll do it again. But like, I love coffee, and I like getting coffee. I always take coffee when I can get it. I like trying coffee that is, slightly different flavors of coffee. I like, some coffee with some syrup added to it, some coffee that, but I love that. So that's like with me in fantasy. I can read the same fantasy book that's slightly different, but I still got my fix of that thing that I really love. It's
Sure.
like people give Ryan Cahill a hard time for his, Boy and a Dragon. It's like, yeah, this has been done a million times. I'm like, yeah, but it was done with it's a different flavor, a different world, a different vibe, different technology sometimes, or anything. And so it's like, that's what, like with Eye of the World, people were kind of saying it's like, yeah, it's just another fantasy classic farm boy trope. I'm like, and it's awesome. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I really,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading more of it. Obviously a lot of people love it. I know that's, Thomas R. Howell is one of his all time favorites, because he read through the entire series.
Hmm.
So Yeah, I thought it was great, and I thought it was just great to be able to go through it. And I'm always a fan of reading similar things. That's why I'm looking forward to reading Lord Falsbane. I know you're excited that I got that one. So, I know that that's a different take on fantasies. Based off like having a protagonist as a horrible human being in a world that's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's really interesting, and that's probably a video I want to talk about one day. It's just like how people kind of give it a hard time and like, oh, it's like this but better, or like this but worse. And like, why don't you just enjoy it for what it is to an extent,
Sure.
instead of. I mean, it's good to make comparisons, but you got to be careful with it. Everything in moderation, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And I'm with you. I mean, I love the wheel. Like, I have the Wheel Time logo tattooed on my leg. Like, I love Wheel Time, right? I will cede to the critics that the Eye of the World is basically a scene by scene recreation of the Fellowship of the Ring. That I'm like, okay, but it's still like you're saying, it still has some unique stuff to it. It still is a unique world, new characters, and then when you get into the Great Hunt, it takes off and does its own thing, and it's completely different. So sometimes I think about criticisms like that, or like Ryan Kyle, which Ryan has said that he was intentional about this, which I would like to take his word for it and hope it's not just a retcon. And similar thing with Jordan. I wonder if they're intentionally, here's this familiar thing that let me get you in here, and then it's like your foot in the door, basically, right?
Right.
You're this sounds nefarious, and I don't mean it that way, but you're sort of luring people in with what they know and love, and then taking them on the journey that you want to tell. That I think that's awesome, right? And is a great way to do it. So I'm with you, dude. Like tropes are awesome. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's why we like fantasy. I like dragons and I like magic and I like
Yeah,
battles.
swords and sorcery. And
Yeah.
now again, I've only read Red Rising, but I remember Preacher even saying that's what Pierce Brown has been always said. It's like he wrote like a competitive faction dystopian story because that's
Uh-huh.
what was selling,
Yep.
so he can get his foot in the door and then go off and do his own thing with
Yeah.
his epic scope, which makes me excited to read that eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, tropes are that's why I love Shay's trope born stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Those are great.
yeah, because there's a reason why we come back to these things because it is good to get new and exciting things or concepts we haven't thought of, but it's always nice. It's almost like you put like you give a kid a piece of candy or something, or like, and they have to take this medicine because they're sick and they just, like antibiotics or something. You kind of like sneak it in. It's almost like that in a way, right?
Yeah.
Where you just like you're sneaking in new concepts. The whole thing with like Brandon Sanderson. Like by the time he's done, we're going to be reading epic space opera, and it started with epic fantasy. Like what a wild ride that's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's just how he's done. That's has been his goals, and so
Yeah.
no, I'm super stoked to get around to the Great Hunt eventually. It's just so much fun stuff to read, man. I love.
Totally.
I just read Pines by Blake Crouch because that was the trilogy my brother got for me, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard very good things.
Yeah, it's a trippy book, but it's good. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's just it doesn't that's why I guess I'm not too picky, and that's why you don't see a lot of lower reviews from me because again I'm going to read things um, that I know I'm going to enjoy by
Yeah.
authors that I'm going to enjoy, or by authors that many of my peers, again, especially you and Shay, I'm most closely aligned to in terms of taste.
Mm.
So usually y'all's perspectives, and John too, are the
Yeah.
ones that I kind of pay attention to for books that I haven't heard of before or that I haven't read yet. And it's like, okay, if they like it, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to like a majority of what they're suggesting. So that's why,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I kind of align myself from. And then occasionally I try to pick up something that I've never heard of before,
Hmm.
or at least from the booktube community. And maybe it's something I like that I can end up, introducing to uh, the fan base or the
Yeah.
booktube community. So
Totally. Yeah. I love that idea. That's kind of what I wanted to try to do with the Covenant books. And Alex from Books with Banks and Jared at the Fantasy Thinker have been doing some discussions. So like they're helping to push it too, and it's one of Jared's favorite things ever. And like I understand why now, right? So it's cool to kind of feel like you're um, part of the of pushing the wave rather than just kind of riding it later. Because like that's always what I like. Oh, everyone's talking about Sun Eater. I guess I should check this out. Or everyone's talking about Wars, Light, and Shadow. I guess I should check this out. And,
right.
it's fun to, and obviously not everything's going to catch on, and some people might be like, hey, you liked that? Like, you're weird, right? But probably not. There's going to be people that like it. So yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is why I love this hobby. There's just so much out
Yeah.
there and so many good things.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
speak of the
looking.
devil. How about that? What's up?
Hey, there you go.
I'm past halfway in book 3, and it's awesome.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in
Yeah.
this chat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so many good, amazing things. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some more horror soon. I'm actually getting ready to play the Silent Hill 2 remake again.
Oh, cool.
It's that is a when it comes to focusing on a story of a game, and it's very moody and atmospheric. Of course, it's grotesque and there's a lot of messed up stuff in it, but it's so good, especially once you understand the whole story and you've played through the ending. You will be able to play through that game in its entirety all over again, knowing what you know, and then you just discover so much more. You know,
Oh,
like it's been
cool.
there the whole time, and you didn't know it because you didn't know what the ending was going to be like. And this Silent Hill is famous for having multiple endings, including some joke endings. Like one of the endings for this game is that you go behind the scenes, and there's a dog that's been running the game the whole time. Yeah, it's hilarious. So, but Silent Hill 2, yeah, I mean, I can't wait to play it because yes, oh, Pyramid Head is so creepy, but
I
it's such
think
a
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
easily one of the best villains of a game design. Again, because what makes Silent Hill 2 good is there's a lot of psychology in it, with what James is going through, right? Because the premise is that he gets a letter from his dead wife who was dead 3 years ago. Why is he getting a letter from his wife to come to Silent Hill when she should be gone?
Hmm.
Um, and then you explore what happens. You meet some interesting characters who are going through their own past traumas, and way that Silent Hill works, this ancient city that's more modernized to an extent, has a lot of messed up history behind it, and the way that it works and calls people to it, and kind of its forms change based off who's there and what they see based off their trauma and things they are dealing with. So that's what makes the series so good. And like Silent Hill F, I think comes out this year, if I remember correctly, and that's going to be based in Japan and not actually Silent Hill, the city in
Oh,
in
okay.
Maine, which is where the titular city is from,
Hmm.
in the this fictional setting. Um, but no, it's such a great game, and if it is, you want some good spooky vibes that are not intense all the time. It gets intense sometimes, um, it's good. The music's good. It's just to the right level of creepy. Like honestly, anytime it's ever foggy, my brother and I always say, "Oh, that's some good Silent Hill weather right there," you know. So,
That's cool.
but no, it's an amazing game. I've thought about streaming it and kind of talking about it at what I'm encountering and seeing and things to look out for, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I'm still trying. I'm still kind of struggling getting any kind of consistency streaming. Um, so one step at a time, that kind of thing. But if you're looking for a game to play that's really creepy and but fun and but also just like a really good story, I highly recommend Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because once you beat it, you're like, wait, what? And then you're gonna want to go back
Oh,
and
that's the
play it
best.
again. Yeah.
That's the best. I'm having some. What is this memory I'm having? I remember being at a friend's house. I think we were playing one of them. So I've played for like an hour one of the games. I don't know which one it was, but I have like a really vague memory of that. And I remember, isn't there a movie with Sean Bean?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Um, and do I have anything else? I've seen a million cosplays of the Pyramid Head thing. So like I have some vague awareness of what it is, but I think it'd be really fun to play. And you actually just jogged another thought loose in my brain that that's something I keep telling myself I want to do is to try to like stream a game on the channel because that would actually give me an excuse to play a video game because it's
Yeah,
like
man.
okay cool now it's content we're multitasking whatever and people can just laugh at how dreadfully awful I am at video games so that could be fun.
I thought about that too because you raise a good point because I made this different channel called Deku Tree Dad. Highlighting my love of Zelda and being a father, dad gamer. But
Yeah,
being a gamer my entire life. But then there's parts of me I'm like, I'm just gonna stream on my booktube channel because it's like if you come and
yeah,
check it out, because the whole point of why I love games is yes, the gameplay is a big, big, big part of that, but the stories, especially when we're talking about single player games, like the Mass Effect trilogy, is the whole point of it is the story because the decisions you make in the story change the story. They messed up the ending of 3, but they kind of went back and fixed it so you can enjoy it now. Um, I don't know. I know Tabitha's going through it, and it's just been a great story. And I've been kind of like, oh, I want to do it in this channel or do it on this stream or this. I'm like, man, I'm just probably just gonna start playing on my channel, and if anybody
Yeah.
watches it, like actually, I did an initial playthrough of Mass Effect 1 on my channel. You can go back and see it, but I don't
Oh,
know. It's
sweet.
like, yeah, I might do Silent Hill. Like, it's definitely gonna be a content warning, that's for sure on that game. Holy moly, because it's yeah, it's graphic.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that'd be good. And honestly, I would cheer you on to do that because that'd be fun because it's fun to go back and like you know play games that maybe have influenced books or books that have influenced
Yeah,
games,
totally.
and just also just playing games that are just famous for having a really solid story. Of course, The Witcher is famous for that. Being
Sure.
based off of a series of books, and the games are amazing. Especially, oh man, Wild Hunt is glorious. It's such a great game. When you're not getting sucked into playing Gwent the entire time. But no, there's just so many amazing games and stories out there. I know my brother and I were super stoked for like Battlefield 6. That's obviously heavily into the first person shooter side of things, but we love our
Mhm.
tactical military games. And so,
Yeah.
um, but no, there's a lot of good single player experiences out there that are good to play and talk about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of gave me the itch. I might do a Silent Hill run or something
Do
on,
it,
on my
man.
channel. So
Yeah,
we'll
you got
see
to
what
do it.
happens.
And I might pick your brain on how to actually stream it on the channel because I don't have the slightest idea how to do that.
I can
So
100% help you with that
sick.
for
Well,
sure.
when this call's over, I might ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, dude, for
You can hook
sure.
me up.
There's
I
a
think that'd
there's
be
a lot
fun.
of yeah. I mean, OBS is the main thing people use, and OBS actually has a lot of built-in tools for streaming, including streaming on YouTube.
Oh,
So
sick.
it makes
Okay.
it a lot easier. So I can
I've used
definitely,
OBS before, but I didn't know that it could do that.
yeah,
That's
yeah, I
cool.
can run you through
That's
that
awesome.
for sure.
It's always nice to find someone who knows more about tech than me, which is pretty easy to do because I don't know a whole lot. So,
I mean, I gotta know stuff if I work for a tech company. So
yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't have to know much for. I'm just like, okay, go lift those weights, and then we're good. That's all.
there you
That's all
go.
I need. I gotta know how to
Hey,
use
so
an
you can help
Excel
me on that.
spreadsheet. There we go. We can
We
trade.
can help each other. There we
We
go.
can
Yep.
trade. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Trying to play Mission. Mass Effect is another one that I just had never. I never played it. I missed it, dude. And I hear everybody um, just talk about how
You
incredible it
can
is. So.
you can go. So one of the nice things they did is so when Mass Effect 1 came out, because remember this is the same company that made Knights of the Old Republic, which is like a classic Star Wars
Oh.
game that
Okay.
people love.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've ever played it or know of it, right? Great game, BioWare, right? They also made Jade Empire, which is a really, really good game. So they're really famous for making a really good story-based, decision-based story system. And Mass Effect 1 was very turn based ish, like Knights of the Old Republic. But what they did is that when Mass Effect 2 came out, it was much more third person shooter, run around, have more control over the combat, quicker pace, that kind of thing, more real time. And then, of course, 3 just took it and went with it. What they did with Legendary Edition, which is what I'd recommend you get because it's 1, 2, and 3, but they went back and retroactively changed the fighting mechanics of 1 to fit with the rest of
Oh,
the series.
cool.
So it's faster pace. And also, the way you explore the worlds in the galaxy are different in each game. But in the first game, you would actually land on the planets and they would all look kind of boring and stale because they're trying to, use the resources they have to make these different copies of planets. And so with this one, they kind of changed them up to give them enough of a different vibe for each planet. And they made the mechanics of exploration a lot more effective because you're playing on this bouncy space rover thing called the Mako. And it was such a pain in the butt to drive originally, but they fixed a lot of that in this game.
Okay.
Um, but anyways, the story is amazing. The setting is amazing. The fact that you can make decisions in the first game that have repercussions that show up in the third game is what's so cool. Like
Oh, that's cool.
what a cool concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get giddy every time I think about that. That's why I was so happy that Tabitha was playing through it because it's just fun to have people who are going through it for the first time.
Yeah.
For those who know the series, Rex is my all-time favorite character. The Krogan's my favorite race. They're like any sci-fi that has space warrior people. Those are my favorite characters, like Klingons. And so the Krogan are like that. They're like this big turtle-like race that you see in Mass Effect,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're very warrior-minded, and I love it for that. Yeah, Rex is amazing. I right there, 100%. So
That's
Rex
awesome.
and what's the one? Grunt is the other one you meet that you can have at your party later on. So
All right. Well, it's going on the list then. It's going on the list.
yeah, 100%.
I have a long list. I most of the gaming I did. So like growing up, it was a lot of just kind of all over the place with different kinds of games. But when I got into like high school, it was pretty much all Guitar Hero or NBA 2K. That was like all I played. So I have a huge gap of like story based games that at some point we're gonna have to go back and and play through a bunch of these because I just feel like I'm missing out. Right? People get FOMO for book series and stuff that people are talking about. I have a lot of FOMO for some of these games, so I gotta
See, but I
alleviate
love that you're in that position because what a cool blessing it is to be able to like go back and experience all these things for the first time.
that.
Like,
Yeah, true.
my dad would always have some funny, it's like, what he wouldn't give to experience things for this first time. He had a
Yeah,
saying that was a bit more lewd than that I won't say, but it was always funny. If my brother's
sure.
watching this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But no, it was just such a cool thing. And Mr. Good Cat, yes, Thane is my second favorite character of the series. Oh man, I just want to geek out about these things because, and I know you well enough, Jake, that you would love this series and these characters. Like
Okay.
Thane is a race of creatures where they have like photographic memory beyond comprehension,
Okay.
and Thane will kind of like snap into a moment and just start repeating like these moments and the details that he could remember from this exact moment and these big things. And so, yeah, he's a really cool asset. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about this. I love this stuff, man.
All right. I'm adding it to my list right now. I'm gonna have very poor live stream etiquette and do this right now.
No, yeah. Let's see. So you've got, I mean, you could do Silent Hill 2, or you may just end up doing Silent Hill 2 through me on my channel. And then you got Mass Effect,
Yeah,
the Legendary Edition.
Mass Effect, Legendary. There we go. It's on the
Yeah,
list,
because you
man.
can see I'll kind of turn it on my bookshelf. So right there is my little Mass Effect collection. That's the original. That's the Xbox 360 right there. So
Yeah,
absolutely love Mass Effect. Of course, all my Halo stuff's up on the top there.
nice.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'm feeling rejuvenated excitement on the video game front. We got to make this happen sooner rather than later.
yeah, you've got a lot of great stories coming up. Um,
We'll figure it out.
there's a lot of good ones. I mean, and what's cool too about like Mass Effect is, um, it's just a good story. Like, and it's really fascinating, and it rewards you for exploring. And it's just the music is really good too. And by the time you finish the whole series, you're like, man, that was a wild ride. I can't believe that that happened. Because of course I was playing it as it was coming out. So yeah, I played one, and then I played one again before two. Then I played one and two again before three.
Oh, cool.
So I've played through the series many times over. Yeah, I could
That's
just keep
awesome.
geeking out about that.
I don't think I've
But
ever replayed I think the only games I've ever replayed is God of War. Those first three. I think
I
that's
never
it.
played the original God of Wars, but I did play the newer ones.
Oh, dude, they're
And
so fun.
oh man, the new ones I loved. So, oh yeah, that's right. Seth Green is the voice for the pilot, who's called Joker.
Okay.
And it sounds weird when we say it out loud, but I promise you that Joker, he does it very well. Yeah, Joker is hilarious. Um, yeah, there's so many lines going through my head at this funny things he says in that series. So he's got a really cool story too. Every character, what makes it too good too is that, when you have the medium of a video game, sometimes you get a sense of backstory for characters, and it's really good to know that stuff. But Mass Effect does it so well. Um, you know, you you have these characters you run into, and you learn more about the backstory just by talking with them and letting them give a chance to talk to you about what they've gone through and their experiences, and how that shapes throughout the entire series and how that grows throughout the entire series. And because you knew their backstory by talking with them so much, the characters that make it all the way through the series, you've seen that growth in what they've gone through. Um, yeah. Yeah, if you were to say, Red, what game should I play as soon as this thing's over? I would tell you Mass Effect right away. So,
Bro, all right, all right, all right. Well, you know what? Funny enough, I'm gonna get kicked off of this platform here in 15 minutes ish anyway, when the 2 hour limit hits. So um, maybe we should hop off, and you should tell me how to stream games, and I
there we go.
can remedy dreadful lack of video games in my life and get Mass Effect on the list, because it sounds like ADHD reader saying it goes on sale for super cheap all the time,
Hmm.
which is what I like. So everybody loves Mass Effect, man. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if
So
you're
maybe
passionate for stories, this is a great game to start off and come back to.
there we go.
Series.
That's a good one. Okay. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, dude. This was super
Hey,
fun.
yeah, thanks for having me, man. This was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start off the weekend.
Totally. And anybody watching, if you're not subscribed to Red yet, make sure you go do that right now. Obviously, he's a very cool guy, but a great channel as well. And it'll be linked in the description, of course. And what else we got? We're both in the Discord all the time, the Book Street Boys. So go get in there, hang out with us, all that good stuff. Let's be friends.
Heck yeah. It's a great
Yeah.
Discord. A lot of great
It's a great
people in
Discord.
there.
Good vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Very good vibes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live chat. It's always super fun. If you're watching on the replay, leave a comment. And like I said, go check out Red's channel. Otherwise, I'm going to go learn how to play video games. So let's have a great weekend.